There's an old saying that black people have always known white people better than we even know ourselves. And I'm going to prove to you why this is true in this video. Number one, the reason my words have always triggered white America is because I've done what most white folks are too terrified to do. I simply put the myth down. I walked away from the racial lies and the narcissistic narratives we were fed from birth. I stopped buying into the delusion that our comfort is the only reality that matters. I'm not talking to you from inside the white bubble anymore. I'm just talking from the outside. You see, there are two Americas. One is built on the hard truth, and the other is built on a white fairy tale. Black people have the clarity they have because they never bought into the myth of white supremacy. They knew it was a hustle from day one. But white America made a deal with that myth. We traded our soul and our connection to reality for a sense of superiority that doesn't even exist. And that's the God's truth. That's why white folks have zero credibility when you talk about race. We can't have credibility when you're living a lie, can you? And in 2026, we're seeing the receipts for that truth. Last month, 8 million people, mostly white folks, marched for No King's Day. They were out there screaming about fascism, affordability, and the loss of democracy under Trump's regime, like the house that just caught on fire this morning. But look at who's not in those streets. Black people largely set this one out. Why, you might ask? It's because black people tried to warn white people for years. They pointed at Trump and said, this is where this ends. They sounded the alarm on the racism, the corruption, and the rot. But white people didn't listen. We went ahead and supported this racist regime in massive numbers anyway, because we were too blinded by our own greed and our own fucking arrogance to care about who got crushed as long as we felt superior. Yes, we saw a great white, morally bankrupt narcissist that mirrored our white narcissism perfectly. Trump, the white man's racist messiah. See, white supremacy is a moral lobotomy. It has turned white America into toxic, delusional people. White narcissism spiritually stunts the person holding on to it. Fact. I know I was a racist. And we need to be clear. White supremacy isn't just the guys in the hoods or the extremists in the news. It's the everyday culture of white America. It's maintained by the average white person who either perpetrates it, denies it, or enables it through a cold, calculated apathy. It's all that silence that gives it permission to breathe. We thought we were the owners of the machine, but we were just the next ones on the menu. Now that the smoke is finally reaching our front doors, we're acting shocked. But black people aren't shocked. They've been looking at us from the outside for centuries, seeing the truth of our chaos while we were busy getting high on our myths. We spend all day, every day, spewing 1,000 false narratives and lies about race, indoctrinating ourselves with a belief system that keeps us trapped in this myth. No, black people aren't coming to save us this time. They're standing back, watching white people fuck around and find out what happens when you build a world on a fucking lie. That's why, despite the struggle, if you ask a black person if they would ever want to trade places and be white, the answer is almost always a resounding no. They'd rather keep their soul and their clarity than inherit our racist, soul-crushing delusion. Because at the end of the day, black people have always known white people better than we have ever dared to know ourselves. They've always understood that white supremacy was never just about power. It was a form of enslavement for the white man. And ultimately, it is our destruction. So white America, I'm going to leave you with this. James Baldwin told us, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's fucking faced.
The inevitable is happening. The thing we as black people have known all along about this administration in power, how our rights were being infringed on, how the country would spiral, how women's bodies would be controlled, how education would be gutted, and how the rich would get richer and the poor would get poorer. Because the only difference between this...
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him, we're implicated in this for sure. But the question does present itself immediately, like, what is this? Was this always the plan? You don't want to be a conspiracy nut, but like clearly there were signs of low character. We knew that.
This?
There are aspects of his personality which are obviously not good. and that we've mostly just chosen to overlook. You know, he's not a moral man. He's obviously not the greatest husband in the world. You know, cost of American lives isn't the motivator. It's just that Trump has moved on to other things because he has the attention span of a gnat.
And this.
And what American is this helping? Besides the industrial war complex, I just don't know. I don't understand. So yeah, that's what our president's up to, and it's fucking baffling.
Isn't you had a change in morality or a different point of view. You're just now impacted. And what a spineless way to live. You say to yourself, I'm okay if marginalized groups are impacted as long as my positioning as a white person is unchanged in this country. We knew. So when you ask,
what does the black community see that we don't, that's allowing them to totally let go?
We saw you. We saw our parents and grandparents fight for their rights as humans. We saw how at every turn, the only thing people in America, white American men, and those white American women who feed into racism and the patriarchy want is capitalistic system where black people don't benefit, women stay in their place, the masses remain uneducated, and America stays white. So yes, we knew. MAGA voters are speaking out against Trump. Farmers are watching crops rot because of tariffs, federal workers losing jobs they thought were safe, veterans seeing benefits get cut. But none of this is shocking because the policy didn't change. Their proximity to it did. This pattern is as old as oppression itself. If we go back to the Reconstruction era after the Civil War, poor white and black farmers were in the same economic boats, exploited by the same landowners, crushed by the same debt systems. They actually started organizing together. The populist movement was building real cross-racial working class power. But the planter class got panicked. They did not want poor people joining up against wealthy people. So they did what ruling classes always do. They offered poor white farmers something black farmers couldn't have: social status. The feeling of being above somebody. Jim Crow wasn't just about hate. It was a political strategy to break solidarity before it became a threat, and it worked. Poor white Southerners voted against their own economic interests for generations, even until today, because they were giving the psychological wage of whiteness instead of actual wages. Fast forward to the New Deal, FDR's programs of Social Security, labor protections, the right to organize were genuinely transformative. But to get Southern Democrats on board, they excluded the jobs black people were most likely to hold. Domestic workers, agricultural laborers, left out by design. White workers built generational wealth in those programs. Black workers were locked out altogether. So when someone says the government used to work for regular people, it did. Just not all of them, and just not all of us. And these are the same sentiments of MAGA today. Ida B. Wells warned us. She said, a country willing to use terror against black people had already proven it would use terror as a tool, period. The weapon doesn't retire once it's done with one group. MLK said in a Birmingham jail, he wasn't just frustrated with the segregationists, he was frustrated with the white moderates who thought they could stay comfortable while injustice ran its course. Injustice doesn't run its course. Frederick Douglass understood that freedom, if it wasn't protected for everyone, was just a loan. One thing we know about loans is that loans get called in. But in this country, if we have built and defended the political infrastructure to protect minority rights when black communities were screaming that these systems were dangerous, everyone would have protections right now and rights today. Now we're watching tariffs gut the same farming communities that cheered trade wars aimed at protecting them. Federal jobs disappearing from the same towns that voted to shrink government because the cuts were supposed to hit someone else. The tools they're using on immigrants, on black voters, and now the white working class Americans, those same tools are now pointed somewhere new. You cannot outsource your freedom to someone else's oppression and expect to stay free. The only way any of us stay protected is if the system is built to protect all of us. America is in a very precarious place. And if we just believe black people, if we just granted black people equal protections and rights and freedoms under the law without the need for us to be in this centuries-long fight, then maybe, just maybe, we all would have adequate protections and not fall into a despot running our country dry while enriching his helm of billionaires. You ask black people, what did we see that you didn't see? We saw our story.
Was that guy sleeping? Like, was he thinking, well, like,
just feel like the
that
black
was
community,
father's
they have
house
tried
or what?
to warn
Because I don't
all of us.
understand. You won't cross the finish line and you're celebrating. What are you celebrating?
But you just didn't want to listen.
Anyone else? What are you celebrating? You won't cross the finish line.
No matter how much.
You're checking your wrist. What are you checking? What time are you checking?
I just feel tired. I feel drained.
I don't know, like, why do you feel so comfortable? You won't pass the finish line and you're feeling all good, all right. And guys, kudos to that hype man at the back.
It's kind of exactly what it sounds like. Understanding where
that hype man deserves an award too, because the way he was hyping the black guy that finished the race, like that was really good. That was the best video ever.
The system is actually designed so that it
because I don't know, and I feel a little bit sad for the guy that thought he won the race.
And realize the power we all have together. Instead of shaming people for what they don't have, we start understanding why
that's
they don't
gonna
have it and
hurt
imagining
him.
something better. Historically, class
His family, everybody's gonna be on him because it's crazy.
Think labor movements in the
You
early
won
20th
already
century,
and
workers
you
banding together to fight for fair
come on,
wages,
finish
safer conditions,
finish
and
up.
things like the 8-hour workday that we took
Finish up before
or take the civil
celebration.
rights movement. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't
Just like people, you know, you're in
but also
process.
organizing to unite the working class
You're in
across
process
racial lines.
of like winning. You haven't win, and you're celebrating. What are you celebrating? Finish up, be 100% certain you win before you start celebrating.
Like these have been met with resistance.
And this is what fucked so many people up in real life. You're doing something, you haven't gotten to the finish line, you're celebrating. Who does that? Like, who does that?
To find out
Guys, please, I just want to hear your thoughts. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Also, I need to hear from you guys. Let me know what are your thoughts.
Known and seen the truth. You guys have to know that there is more deeper spirituality in blackness. And now they are finding out, okay, because this whole thing is now glaring in their faces. Unlike before now, black people could only sense it. But now it is knocking. And they all are feeling it and now confessing on camera that black people were right. Hi my loves, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to let the rest of the videos roll, then I come back with more commentary. Credit belongs to original creators of these videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop your own take in the comments. I will come back with more commentary. Let's go watch.
I am so done with this world. It's starting to become so draining. I feel like I know too much, and I feel like I'm done trying to bring awareness to people who act like they're allergic to knowledge. Do you know when the saying goes, ignorance is bliss? It really is. The division is manufactured, the outrage is designed to keep you distracted while the agenda moves forward. And if you still think this is about left versus right, you're lost. You are completely wrong. This is about the people versus the system.
So what's good, guys? Sorry for cutting the video, but I just have some few points I want to drop. You know, this has been happening for a very long time, and the black have been warning the whites about this, but they were not saying it. They were not saying it coming at all. Like, black have been warning them about this, but they were not saying it coming. We have been warning them about this, but they were not saying it coming at all. And this is the same thing we have been going through. Now you guys are just going through it and you're complaining and you're talking. Wow. Now you see how things, and this is what we've been going through for centuries. Our ancestors. Now you guys are feeling, understand? So it's just crazy. Why are you guys feeling this way? I don't really know. Now you're just having a test of it and you are, come on. Because we've been dropping hints, we've been dropping points on certain things. But you guys were not seeing it. Okay, now you're realizing. Wow. I think it's crazy. Guys, please, I wanna hear your comments. I need your comment, guys. I wanna hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts on this? Because your comments are very important. Your thoughts are also very important, so someone else can also learn. Because some people don't. They don't and they won't. But I guess currently now they're realizing it. But it's just painful looking at how things have been going through. And it's not today. This thing has been happening since. It has been happening since what? They were not saying it. And now they are saying it now. Now they are feeling it now. And you guys are complaining. Let's just continue.
Please stay for this.
Yes, please.
Because I've reached the part in this whole, like, class consciousness part where I'm just filled with the most impotent rage.
Oh my.
And, like, I'm talking that white hot, I need to sink my teeth and into something and scream kind of rage.
Oh my.
Because what do you mean that it never had to be this hard for us? Like, what do you mean in other countries they don't have to spend 20% of their paycheck on groceries? What do you mean in other countries everyone can own homes because they're not paying $2,000 a month in rent, or that their mortgages aren't like their entire paycheck?
Oh my.
What do you mean that people in China work one job and they don't even work 40 hours and they can easily afford their life? And then I'm over here working 60 hours a week, just me as a single parent, to like barely make ends meet, and I'm penny pinching every single second, and like there's so much life that my kid misses out on and that I miss out on because of money and like work and no social support net.
Like what
and
black people deal with?
Tell me that it didn't have to be like this.
Yeah, we tried to tell you.
They keep us in these chains on purpose, and it never had to be like this. Like, I did everything right. I went to college. I had to drop out of college to take care of my mom when she was sick because, again, no social services, like, no safety net. My dad worked his whole life and died and left everything to my mom. My mom was disabled, and she lived on credit, and, like, she barely made ends meet, and she did everything she was supposed to.
We all do.
And I did everything I was supposed to.
We did.
It just keeps getting worse.
We tried to tell you that.
It was never supposed to be like this.
No, it wasn't.
And I'm so angry that it is.
Now you're
because
angry?
What do you mean? I've spent so much of my life working so hard to scrape by. And it never had to be like that. My suffering was at the expense of someone else becoming wealthy because they could. And I am so angry about this. It can't stay like this.
Actually, it can.
It doesn't have to stay like this.
You know, part of me feels sympathy watching this young woman crash out and realize life hard. Life is hard. Yeah, life is hard, honey. And had you listened, had all of whitey America listened to black people, it wouldn't have been this way. Had you listened to us, you wouldn't be dealing with this right now. And the reason I say that is because we've been telling you for decades that everything that's done to us is just practice for what they're going to do to all of us. And eventually they're going to incorporate you guys in it as well, because there's not enough low-wage slaves to go around. The oligarchy is here, and they had to strip down and kill the middle class, because you don't have a middle class anymore. You just have working poor and poor. Everybody is 2 paychecks away, 2 missed paychecks away from a complete disaster in their life, a complete financial disaster. And I mean losing homes, losing cars, everything. 2 paychecks. That's all you have to miss is 2 paychecks. And your life is going to go into a tailspin. So, while I can empathize with you as a human being, understanding that you should have listened to black people. They were going to come for you eventually. They don't just come for us. They use us to practice. And as long as you let them know that it's okay to do to us, you make it easier for them to do it to you. You guys aren't ready for what's coming with Trump when he starts cutting all of those social services. You guys are not ready. You are not ready for this. And it's unfortunate because we're all going to feel it, but we're used to it. We are used to it. We are used to the government never doing anything for us. We are used to the government doing everything to shit on us. We're used to it. And we survive. We thrive. We do everything we can because we know this is the way it is. And you need to start listening to us. Even though black women are taking a break for 4 years, you better figure it out. Life is hard. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Nobody owes you nothing. Okay? Besides, you're a pretty young girl. I'm sure there's some Christian nationalists who would gladly wife you up. Who knows what kind of abuse you'll have to suffer to be with them, but you know, there's always the safety that the Project 2025 marriages will give you. Maybe you should start listening to what's coming out of our black ass mouths. I'm just saying.